Will Sweden join NATO this week? That's the topic of today. My name is Max Villman. I'm a former fighter pilot in the Swedish Air Force on the Gripen, and let's go. So, to give you a quick background, Sweden applied to join NATO last year in July, but we still haven't gotten approval from Turkey and from Hungary. And the big player here is, of course, President Erdogan, Turkey's president. And right now we have the Vilnius NATO Summit coming up tomorrow. It's starting officially 11th of July. There are some pre-conference press conferences, of course, with the Secretary General and the President of the Republic of Lithuania. But I'm recording this on the 10th of July, on Monday morning, and tomorrow the conference will start formally on the 11th of July. And just to show you how much emphasis is being put on Sweden, we can see here at several places you have NATO, and then with Sweden. There's also with Sweden here, Minister of Defense with Sweden, and on the Wednesday it's the same thing with Sweden, etc., etc. So many people have speculated about if Sweden will get the final okay from President Erdogan this week or during the summit. That's what everyone is working for. And just to give you a quick background on what has happened so far, this is from Wikipedia. It's a good article, actually, Sweden-NATO relations, and Sweden has been, no alliances with Sweden for almost 200 years. We haven't had a formal war since the 1800s. We joined the PFP, Partnership for Peace, NATO cooperation, after the Soviet Union fell in 95-94. And also that's when we joined the European Union, approximately at the same time. So we have had a long ambivalent relationship with other alliances, but now it has shifted immensely. And of course, the shift mainly came after Russia's aggression and Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. And only 1 month after that, one of the biggest Swedish parties, the Social Democrats, switched their stance from being no to NATO to being yes to NATO. And that also brought along the Swedish Democrats, so only two small minor left-wing parties were against Sweden joining NATO. So in March of last year, 2022, only 1 month after Russia's invasion, Sweden's parliament voted to join NATO. And on a summit on 17th May, Sweden's foreign minister finally signed Swedish application to join NATO. And Finland also did the same thing in that time. Which is a very historical event, of course, and something that changes the security along the Baltic Sea quite a lot, because it could be potentially no neutral nations, only NATO and Russia along the Baltic Sea, if this goes through. So right now, Finland has been accepted. Sweden has not been accepted because of the rule in NATO that every member of the alliance must vote for every new member to join. So every member has the veto. Right now, we are waiting for 2 ratifiers. That's Hungary and Turkey, as I mentioned before. And now there has been a big mangling, of course, lots of going back and forth. This is Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson. This is President Biden, of course. And they met last week. And one of the biggest issues here is, of course, Sweden's NATO accession. So there's a big discussion going on here. We also had Swedish Prime Minister to meet with Erdogan. I think they are meeting tonight, if they haven't met last night, in an attempt to actually bring Turkey along. Turkey is the big showstopper in this. And there's several reasons why Turkey is against Sweden joining. The major one is, of course, a lot of Kurds have moved and fled to Sweden, and Turkey and the Kurdish organizations are in a long conflict. Now lately, also with the burning of the Quran, there has been a lot of pressure from within his own country, from Erdogan's own country, to not accept Sweden. There's also been, Turkey is also a very cunning player when it comes to international relationships. Turkey has bought equipment both from the US and also from Russia, which is quite interesting considering that NATO is mainly there to protect from Russian aggression. And after Turkey bought, I think it was the S-300 GBAD, ground-based air defense system, they were prohibited from buying some other equipment from the US. US were very furious with this decision by Turkey. And right now there's a lot of pressure going on so that Turkey cannot buy more F-16s or F-16 parts if they do not accept Sweden. So there's a lot of things going on with the foreign policy behind closed doors that we do not know about. Of course, President Erdogan is a cunning player and he's using this to the maximum to gain the maximum amount of concessions mainly from the US, but also from other NATO members. And we saw last week Turkey actually decided to uphold the Black Sea Grain Initiative to protect Ukrainian grain exporting vessels. So Turkey has been playing both Ukraine's side and Russia's side in this conflict, which is quite interesting to say the least. But we will see if we will get a decision this week. I think it is quite likely that we will get a yes for Sweden to join NATO, so that Sweden will join NATO this week. We will hope that that is the case. And of course, if you want to read more about the whole situation, the Wikipedia article is quite good actually, I would say. And there's also, of course, a lot in the media right now. Reuters has a quite good article as well with the background on why Turkey is objecting and why has Hungary not ratified the membership and when will they agree. One last thing I would like to mention is this that Reuters brings up here in the end of the article is Sweden's security threatened by the delay. Of course, there's a sort of a vacuum once you have applied to join NATO, but you are not yet entered the alliance. The alliance is protected by Article 5, which is the main defensive article, so that if one alliance member is attacked, then all other members of the alliance will come to their defense. That is Article 5. And once you have applied, but you are not yet in, you are of course not protected by Article 5. But in the meantime, both the US, the UK and several other Western nations have officially, formally given Sweden security guarantees. Of course, those security guarantees are not as, let's say, as strict, as formal as Article 5 in NATO. So, of course, there's some sort of a security vacuum right now for Sweden. So it is a threat that this process drags on even longer. It's been more than a year already. But we will see what has happened and what will happen in the coming days. I'm hoping for a quick accession to NATO now this week. It hasn't been quick, it's been more than a year, as we said. But let's see what happens in the coming day or two. Probably we'll have a decision within 48 hours from this video being released. But I will stop it there. That's all I have for now. If you want to support me, you can follow me on social media. Please give the video a like. That helps with the algorithm. Also, subscribe to the channel, of course. And if you want to buy me a coffee on Ko-Fi, you have the link here in the description below. But until next time, I'm out and fly safe.